The night shift at Earth's Deep Space Monitoring Station was usually quiet. Most nights, Ted Baker just watched the screens, drank coffee, and counted the hours until morning. Tonight was different. "Sir, I'm picking up something strange," Ted said, calling his supervisor over. The signal was weak but clear, a pattern repeating every 12 seconds. It came from a star system 20 light-years away. No human spacecraft had ever gone that far. Within hours, the signal was sent to Space Command Headquarters in Houston. Dr. Lisa Reed, the top expert in possible alien languages, was woken up at 3 a.m. "This better be good," she mumbled as she entered the lab, her hair still messy from sleep. It was more than good. It was history-changing. For 3 days, Lisa barely left her desk. She ran the signal through every computer program she had built over her 15-year career. On the 4th day, she called Admiral Thomas Grant, head of Earth's United Space Command. "It's a message, sir," she said, her voice shaking with excitement. "And it's definitely not from Earth." Admiral Grant was a tall man with gray hair who had seen everything in his 40 years of service, or so he thought. "You're telling me we've been contacted by aliens?" he asked, his face serious. "Not contacted exactly," Lisa explained. "This is a distress call. It's been broadcasting for 15 years. Whoever sent it might not even be alive anymore." She showed him what she had learned. The message came from a species that called themselves the Tammy. Their home planet was under attack by aggressive invaders called the Krelll. The Tammy had sent hundreds of calls for help to different star systems, hoping someone would answer. No one had. "They're peaceful," Lisa said. "Their message says they never built weapons because they never needed them. The Krelll attacked without warning." Admiral Grant frowned. "Even if we wanted to help, how could we? Our best ships would take centuries to reach them." Lisa smiled. "That's why I also called him." The door opened, and Captain Jack Miller walked in. He was the most respected astronaut on Earth, with a reputation for doing the impossible. "I heard you have a mission that can't be done," he said with a small smile. 2 weeks later, the world's leaders gathered in Geneva to make the biggest decision in human history. Earth had been working on faster-than-light travel for decades. A test ship, the ESS Thunderchild, was almost ready. It was supposed to make a short jump to Mars and back as its first mission. Now they were discussing sending it to another star system to help an alien species they knew nothing about. "This is madness," said the European Union president. "We don't know what we're walking into. This could be a trap. Or it could be our chance to save a peaceful civilization," argued the African Union representative. "What does it say about humanity if we ignore a cry for help?" The debate lasted for days. In the end, they voted to go. Captain Jack Miller was given command of the mission. The Thunderchild wasn't built for combat, but it was quickly fitted with the best weapons Earth had. Still, no one knew if human weapons would work against Krelll technology. Jack was in the ship's hangar, checking supplies, when Admiral Grant found him. "Having second thoughts?" the Admiral asked. Jack shook his head. "Not about going. But I keep wondering what we'll find. Will we even get there in time to help? Or will we find a dead world?" "That's why we're sending you," Grant said. "Because if anyone can make a difference, it's you and your crew." The crew was the best Earth had to offer. Dr. Lisa Reed would go as their communications expert. Major Sam Wilson would lead a team of 50 Marines, the best soldiers on Earth. Chief Engineer Mike Torres was the genius who had helped build the FTL drive. Dr. Anna Jones was the top expert in alien biology, though she had never actually met an alien. The night before launch, Jack couldn't sleep. He stood by the window of his quarters, looking at the stars. "One of you sent a message," he whispered. "We heard you. We're coming." Launch day arrived with clear skies. The Thunderchild sat on its pad, towering over everything around it. At 300 meters long, it was the largest spacecraft ever built by human hands. Inside Mission Control, Admiral Grant watched as the final checks were completed. "Thunderchild, you are cleared for launch," he said into his microphone. Jack's voice came back clear. "Roger that, Control. We're bringing the FTL drive online." Everyone held their breath. The FTL drive had never been tested at full power. If it failed, the Thunderchild would explode, taking its crew with it. "Drive is stable," reported Mike Torres from engineering. "We're ready when you are, Captain." Jack took a deep breath. "Let's make history." The Thunderchild rose slowly at first, then faster as its engines pushed against Earth's gravity. Within minutes, it was in orbit. Within an hour, it had passed the moon. On the bridge, Jack looked at his crew. "Final checks. This is your last chance to voice any concerns." Lisa smiled nervously, just wondering if the Tammy will be happy to see us. "I'm more concerned about what the Krelll will think," Sam added. Jack nodded. "We'll find out soon enough. Mike, start the FTL sequence." The engineer pressed a series of buttons. "FTL drive powering up. We'll be ready for jump in 10 seconds." The bridge was silent as the countdown began. 3, 2, 1, jump. The stars outside the viewport stretched into lines, then swirled into a tunnel of blue light. The Thunderchild shuddered, then steadied. They were on their way, the first humans to travel faster than light, heading toward a war they knew almost nothing about, to help aliens they had never seen. What they didn't know was that their arrival would shock not just the Krelll, but the entire galaxy. Because in a universe of small, peaceful beings, humans were something unexpected. They were giants. And the giants of Earth had finally taken flight. The blue tunnel of light surrounded the Thunderchild as it traveled faster than any human had gone before. On the bridge, Captain Jack Miller watched his crew work. Everyone was tense but focused. "How long until we reach the Tammy system?" Jack asked. Chief Engineer Mike Torres looked up from his screen. "If everything works perfectly, 3 weeks. But this is new technology, Captain. We should expect problems." He was right. 4 days into the journey, alarms blared throughout the ship. "FTL drive is overheating," Mike shouted. "We need to drop back to normal space." Jack gave the order, and the blue tunnel disappeared. Stars returned to their normal points of light as the Thunderchild slowed down. "Damage report," Jack demanded. "The cooling system can't handle the heat from the drive," Mike explained. "I can fix it, but I need a few days." Lisa Reed, who was monitoring communications, suddenly sat up straight. "Captain, I'm picking up a signal. It's close." Jack turned to her. "The Krelll?" "I don't think so. It's a distress beacon, but not Tammy or human." Major Sam Wilson moved to the weapons console. "Could be a trap." Jack thought for a moment. "Or someone who needs our help. Let's investigate, but stay alert." The Thunderchild changed course. Soon, they spotted it, a small ship, damaged and drifting. It was unlike any spacecraft humans had designed. Its hull was smooth and rounded, with no visible engines. "Life signs?" Jack asked. Dr. Anna Jones checked her scanner. "Several, but they're weak." Jack made his decision. "Sam, prepare a boarding team. Anna, come with them. They might need medical help." 20 minutes later, Sam led a team of 6 Marines and Dr. Jones to the alien ship. They wore space suits with magnetic boots that let them walk on the strange ship's hull. "We found an entry point," Sam reported over the radio. "It's small." Jack frowned. "How small?" "Like, made for children. We'll have to squeeze through." Inside the alien ship, the Marines had to crouch to avoid hitting their heads on the low ceilings. Everything was built for beings much smaller than humans. They found the survivors in what looked like a central room. There were 12 of them, each no taller than a human child, with large eyes and smooth blue skin. When they saw the humans, they pressed themselves against the wall in fear. "We're here to help," Anna said, though she knew they couldn't understand her. She moved slowly, trying to appear less threatening. One of the aliens stepped forward. It held up a small device that lit up when it spoke. After a few sounds, the device produced English words. "You are not Krell," it said. Anna knelt down to be closer to its height. "No, we're humans, from Earth. We received your distress call." The alien's large eyes blinked rapidly. "Not our call. We are refugees, escaping the Krell." Back on the Thunderchild, the alien visitors were given quarters. Their leader, who called himself Nix, met with Captain Jack and his officers in the conference room. The universal translator they had brought allowed basic communication. "Our world was the third taken by the Krell," Nix explained. "We are Venti. We were peaceful traders until the Krell came." "What do the Krell want?" Lisa asked. "Resources, workers. They take everything valuable, then make the people work for them." Jack leaned forward. "We're on our way to help the Tammy. They sent a distress call to Earth." Nix's eyes widened. "The Tammy called, and you answered." "No one answers such calls. Everyone hides from the Krell." "We don't hide from bullies," Sam said firmly. Nix studied the humans with new interest. "You are very large. All humans this size." Jack nodded. "More or less. Why?" "Most thinking beings in the galaxy are small. The Krell are considered large among us. But," Nix gestured at the humans, "you are giants to us." The humans exchanged surprised looks. "How tall are the Krell?" Jack asked. Nix pointed to a line on the wall about 5 feet up. "This tall. They think this makes them powerful." Sam, who stood over 6 feet tall, laughed. "That's it. I was expecting some kind of monster." "To us, they are monsters," Nix said quietly. "They have numbers and weapons. We never had a chance." While Mike fixed the FTL drive, the humans learned more from their visitors. The Venti showed them maps of Krell territory, 12 star systems conquered over 30 years. The Tammy were their latest target. "The Krell have never faced real resistance," Nix explained. "They attack those who cannot fight back." Jack nodded. "Well, they haven't met humans yet." After 3 days, the FTL drive was repaired. The Venti asked to join the mission, offering their knowledge of Krell tactics in exchange for safe passage. "We will help you help the Tammy," Nix promised. The Thunderchild resumed its journey with its new allies aboard. Jack called a meeting of senior officers to plan their approach. "We know more now," he said. "The Krell aren't the unstoppable force we feared. They're bullies who pick on smaller species, and they've never faced anyone physically stronger than them." Sam added, a gleam in his eye. Lisa looked concerned, "But they still have more advanced weapons and ships than us." "Technology isn't everything," Jack said. "History shows that determination and courage often beat superior technology." As they traveled, the humans modified their plans. Instead of a diplomatic approach, they now prepared for possible combat. Sam trained his Marines for fighting in the smaller spaces they would find on Krell ships. The Venti watched these preparations with growing hope. One evening, Nix found Jack in the observation deck, looking at the swirling lights of FTL travel. "You are not what I expected," Nix said. Jack turned. "What did you expect?" "When I saw how big you were, I thought you might be like the Krell, using your size to hurt others." "Humans have done that to each other," Jack admitted, "but we try to be better. Size comes with responsibility." Nix nodded. "The Krell will not expect you." "Good," Jack said. "Surprise is a powerful weapon." 5 days later, Mike reported they were halfway to the Tammy system. The journey had been smoother since the repairs, but everyone felt the tension growing. They were heading into a war zone, with one ship against an entire Krell fleet. Jack spent hours studying Krell ship designs provided by the Venti. He began to see possibilities, weaknesses that humans could exploit. "We may be outnumbered," he told his officers, "but we have something the Krell have never faced." Sam grinned. "Yeah, us. As the Thunderchild continued its journey through the stars, Earth's giants prepared for their first interstellar battle. The Krelll had no idea what was coming. Dropping out of FTL in 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, Mike announced. The blue tunnel of light disappeared, and normal space returned around the Thunderchild. Captain Jack Miller leaned forward in his command chair as the view screen showed their destination, the Tammy home system. Full stealth mode, Jack ordered. Let's see what we're dealing with before they see us. The ship's outer hull changed color, becoming nearly invisible against the darkness of space. Its engine switched to silent running mode. The Thunderchild drifted forward, a ghost ship approaching an occupied system. I'm detecting multiple ships in orbit around the third planet, Lisa reported. Design matches Krelll vessels from the Venti database. Nix, who stood at the back of the bridge, stepped forward. The blockade. They control who comes and goes. Jack nodded. How many ships? 12 large warships and about 30 smaller patrol vessels, Lisa said. They're spread out in a defense grid. And the Tammy? Any signs of their ships? Lisa shook her head. Nothing moving that matches Tammy designs. Jack turned to Ambassador Ben Walker, who had been quiet until now. The diplomat was there to establish formal contact with the Tammy government, if it still existed. Looks like your job just got harder, Ben, Jack said. Ben adjusted his glasses. I can't make diplomatic contact if we can't find who's in charge down there. First, we need to get past that blockade without starting a fight we're not ready for, Jack said. He turned to his navigation officer. Plot a course that keeps us in the shadow of the system's outer planets. We're going in quiet. For 6 tense hours, the Thunderchild slipped through the system, using planets and moons as cover. Finally, they'd reached the night side of the Tammy homeworld. Scan the surface, Jack ordered. I'm detecting widespread destruction in major population centers. Anna reported solemnly. But there are still millions of life signs. The Tammy are alive. And I'm picking up communications, Lisa added excitedly. There's a resistance network operating on encrypted channels. Can you break in without alerting the Krelll? Jack asked. Lisa worked on her console for several minutes. I've got it. Sending a message now. Friends from Earth have arrived to help. Requesting secure contact. The response came quickly. Coordinates for a remote meeting point, away from Krelll patrols. Jack turned to his officers. Sam, prepare your best squad. Ben, you're coming too. Anna, we might need medical support. Lisa, we need you to translate. What about me, Captain? Mike asked. Keep the ship ready to move at a moment's notice. If things go bad, we might need to leave quickly. The landing craft departed the Thunderchild under cover of darkness. Sam's Marines checked their weapons nervously. None of them had ever expected to set foot on an alien world. The craft landed in a thick forest clearing. As the door opened, Earth's representatives got their first look at the Tammy homeworld, a place with deep blue plants instead of green, and 2 moons shining in the night sky. Stay sharp, Sam told his Marines. We don't know who's out there. They didn't wait long. Small figures emerged from the forest shadows, beings that stood barely 3 feet tall, with delicate features and large, intelligent eyes. Despite their size, they moved with purpose, carrying makeshift weapons. Their leader approached cautiously. When he saw the humans towering over him, he stopped in shock. What are you? He asked, his words translated through Lisa's device. Ben stepped forward, kneeling to appear less intimidating. We are humans from the planet Earth. We received your distress call. I am Ambassador Ben Walker. The Tammy leader seemed unable to process what he was seeing. You're so big. Are all your people giants? By your standards, yes, Ben said with a gentle smile. This is our normal size. What is your name? I am Krelll, commander of the Southern Resistance. He looked at the armed Marines. You brought warriors. Sam nodded. We heard you needed help. Rill led them to an underground base hidden beneath the ruins of what had once been a beautiful city. As they walked through the tunnels, Tammy stopped and stared at the humans, their eyes wide with a mixture of fear and hope. In a central chamber, Rill introduced them to the Resistance Council, 12 Tamu who coordinated the fight against the Krell occupation. "We never thought anyone would answer our call," an elderly Tammy said. "We sent messages to hundreds of star systems. Earth was the furthest," Lisa explained. "That's why it took us so long to respond." Ben took control of the meeting, explaining Earth's desire to help and what they could offer. As he spoke, the Tammy whispered among themselves, occasionally glancing at the tall humans. "The Krell told us no one would come," Rill said finally. "They said all other worlds were either conquered or too afraid to fight." "They were wrong about Earth," Jack said firmly. "But you are just one ship," another council member pointed out. "The Krell have hundreds." Jack smiled. "For now, we're one ship, but if we can establish that the mission is viable, Earth will send more." To prove their commitment, Sam suggested a demonstration. "Let us help you strike a Krell patrol. Show you what we can do." The Tammy resistance had intelligence on Krell patrol routes. A small outpost near the ruined city was manned by 20 Krell soldiers who monitored the area for resistance activity. Sam selected 5 Marines for the mission. They prepared their weapons while the Tammy watched in fascination. "Your weapons are so large," Rill observed. Sam nodded. "Like us." The strike team moved out at dawn. The Tammy guided them through the ruins until they reached a position overlooking the Krell outpost, a gray building surrounded by a fence. "Remember, we want one alive for questioning," Sam told his team. The attack was over in minutes. The Krell, used to facing the smaller and lightly armed Tammy, were completely unprepared for the speed and power of the human Marines. The humans moved through the outpost like giants among children, their superior strength and reach making the fight completely one-sided. When it was over, 19 Krell were dead, and 1 was captured. The Tammy resistance fighters who had watched from a distance were speechless. Back at the base, the captured Krell officer was secured in a makeshift cell. He was taller than the Tammy, but still a head shorter than the human Marines. His dark uniform was torn, and fear showed in his yellow eyes. "I am Drav, 3rd rank officer of the Krell expansion force," he said defiantly. "You have no right to hold me." Ben approached the cell. "And you had no right to invade this world." "We take what we need," Drav hissed. "It is our way." "It ends now," Ben replied. "Humans have arrived, and we don't approve of bullies." As night fell, the Tammy celebrated their first victory. Word spread quickly through the resistance network, bringing new hope to a people who had known only defeat for years. In the command center, Jack and Rill studied maps of Krell positions across the planet. "This was just the beginning," Jack promised. "Earth stands with the Tammy now." Rill looked up at the human captain. "When the Krell came, they seemed so big and powerful. Now we see there are bigger things in the universe." Jack nodded. "And sometimes, the bigger things are on your side." Word of the human arrival spread quickly. In Krell command centers across the Tammy world, reports came in of giant aliens who fought alongside the resistance. At first, the Krell commanders didn't believe it. "Impossible," said the Krell's Supreme Commander Vrek as he studied the reports. "No species would travel so far to help strangers." But the evidence was clear. Security footage from the attacked outpost showed humans towering over Krell soldiers, moving with strength that seemed impossible. "Find these humans," Vrek ordered. "Destroy their ship. Make an example of them." Aboard the Thunderchild, Captain Jack received good news from Earth. His reports had convinced Space Command to send help. 3 more ships were being prepared, each larger and better armed than the Thunderchild. "They'll be here in 2 months," Jack told his officers. "Can the Tammy hold out that long?" Ben asked. "They won't have to just hold out," Jack said with determination. "We're going to take the fight to the Krell." From the captured officer Drav, they learned crucial information about the Krelll fleet. Their command ship, the Dominance, controlled all operations from orbit. If it was disabled, the Krelll would be thrown into confusion. But how do we attack a warship with just one vessel? Mike asked. We don't attack it, Jack explained. We board it. His plan was bold. The Thunderchild would approach using a captured Krelll shuttle as cover. Once close enough, Sam's Marines would board the Dominance and capture its bridge. It's risky, Sam admitted, but the Krelll won't expect it. They've never faced enemies who could match them physically, let alone overpower them. Meanwhile, Lisa worked with Tammy scientists to broadcast messages to other conquered worlds. Earth has come, the messages said. The Krelll can be defeated. Rise up. The Krelll, faced with growing resistance, pulled forces from other systems to reinforce their position around the Tammy world. This was exactly what Jack had hoped for. They're thinning their forces elsewhere, he explained to Krelll, giving those worlds a chance to fight back. For 2 weeks, the humans and Tammy prepared. Chief Engineer Mike adapted Tammy technology to enhance the Thunderchild's weapons. Dr. Anna treated wounded Tammy fighters, learning about their biology. And Sam trained his Marines for the boarding action that would decide everything. The day before the attack, Jack visited the Marine training area. Sam's team was practicing close-quarters combat against simulated Krelll opponents. Ready? Jack asked. Sam nodded. We've studied their movements from the footage. They rely on intimidation, not skill. Against us, that won't work. Tomorrow, we make history, Jack said. The first humans to fight an interstellar battle. Won't be the last, Sam replied with confidence. That night, no one slept well. The Thunderchild prepared for battle, its systems checked and rechecked. The captured Krelll shuttle was modified to carry Sam's boarding team. At dawn, the operation began. The Thunderchild moved out from its hiding place behind one of the Tammy moons. It approached the Krelll fleet, transmitting fake identification codes taken from Drav. They're hailing us, Lisa reported. Ignore it, Jack ordered. Full speed toward the Dominance. The Krelll realized something was wrong. Smaller ships moved to intercept, but the Thunderchild was already too close. Its newly enhanced weapons fired, disabling 2 Krelll vessels in quick succession. Launch the shuttle, Jack commanded. The Krelll shuttle shot from the Thunderchild's bay, carrying Sam and 20 Marines. While the Thunderchild engaged the Krelll ships, drawing their fire, the shuttle approached the Dominance unnoticed. We're at the docking port, Sam reported, beginning boarding action. The Marines cut through the airlock and pushed into the Krelll command ship. The corridors were larger than on the Tammy vessels, but still cramped for humans. The Krelll crew, seeing humans for the first time, fell back in shock. Move to the bridge, Sam ordered his team. Secure the command center. The Marines fought their way through the ship. The Krelll put up fierce resistance, but their weapons and tactics were designed for use against smaller opponents. Against the taller, stronger humans, they were outmatched. On the Thunderchild's bridge, Jack watched as more Krelll ships approach. We can't hold them all off. Sam needs to hurry. The Thunderchild shook as enemy fire struck its shields. Mike worked frantically to keep systems online. Shields at 60%, he shouted. Evasive maneuvers, Jack ordered. Keep them busy for a few more minutes. Inside the Dominance, Sam's team reached the bridge entrance. 2 Marines placed explosives on the door. Fire in the hole, Sam called. The explosion tore the door open, and Marines rushed through the smoke. The Krelll bridge crew turned in surprise. At the center stood Commander Vrek, his yellow eyes widening at the sight of the human giants. Surrender, Sam demanded. Vrek reached for his weapon, but a Marine shot it from his hand. The other Krelll officers froze, unsure what to do. Their training had never covered this situation. I will never surrender to lesser beings, Vrek hissed. Sam stepped forward, towering over the Krelll commander. Look around you. We're not lesser in any way. With the bridge secured, Sam contacted the Thunderchild. "Captain, we have control of the Dominance. All command systems are ours." Jack smiled. "Send the shutdown code to all Krell ships." Using the Dominance's command systems, the humans transmitted the code that temporarily disabled weapons and engines on all Krell vessels in the system. The blockade ships drifted, powerless. "This is Captain Jack Miller of Earth." Jack broadcast to the Krell fleet. "Your commander is our prisoner. Your ships are disabled. The occupation of the Tammy world is over." From the planet below, Tammy resistance fighters launched their coordinated attacks against confused Krell ground forces. Without orbital support and clear orders, the Krell began to surrender. The battle had lasted less than 3 hours. When Jack and Ben shuttled down to the planet, they found Krell and the resistance leaders in what had been the Krell headquarters. The building, designed for the taller Krell, was almost comfortable for the humans. "You did it," Krell said in wonder. "You actually defeated them." "We all did," Jack corrected him. "And this is just one world. There are others waiting to be freed." Then began formal peace talks with both Tammy and Krell representatives. The terms were simple. The Krell would withdraw from all Tammy territory and release all prisoners. "And if we refuse?" asked a Krell official. Ben gestured to where Sam stood at the back of the room. "Then the humans will visit your homeworld next." The message was clear. The age of Krell expansion was over. That evening, as the Tammy celebrated their liberation, Jack received a transmission from Earth. Admiral Grant's face appeared on the screen. "Congratulations, Captain," the Admiral said. "The reinforcements are on their way. What you've done there, it's changed everything." Jack nodded. "It's just the beginning, sir. There's a whole galaxy out there that needs our help." From the Thunderchild's viewport, Jack could see the lights of Tammy cities turning on for the first time in years. Freedom was returning, brought by unlikely giants from a distant world called Earth. 1 year after the Thunderchild's arrival, the Tammy homeworld was transformed. The scars of war remained, but everywhere there were signs of rebuilding and new life. Captain Jack Miller stood on a hill overlooking the capital city. Next to him was Krell, now serving as one of the leaders of the Free Tammy government. "Hard to believe how much has changed," Jack said, watching ships from a dozen worlds moving through the sky above the city. "Thanks to Earth," Krell replied. "Without you, we would still be slaves." Jack shook his head. "You fought for years before we came. We just helped finish what you started." Below them, the new Galactic Embassy was nearly complete. It would house representatives from 23 worlds, all former victims of Krell expansion, now free and forming a new alliance. "The council meeting starts in an hour," Krell reminded him. "Earth's official recognition is the main event." Jack nodded. "Admiral Grant arrived last night. He'll present Earth's formal membership." The defeat of the Krell had rippled across the galaxy. As news spread of how humans had helped the Tammy, other occupied worlds had risen up. The Krell, fighting on too many fronts, had been pushed back to their original system. 3 more Earth ships had arrived after the battle: the Dauntless, the Challenger, and the Defender. Each carried scientists, diplomats, and Marines. Together with the Thunderchild, they had helped liberate 7 more worlds before the Krell finally surrendered. In the Great Hall of the new embassy, representatives from all the free worlds gathered. Some were tall and thin, others short and round, but all were smaller than the humans. Earth's delegation, led by Admiral Grant, towered over the others. "The diversity is amazing," Dr. Anna Jones whispered to Lisa. Both women had stayed on to study the different species and their languages. "And they all want to learn about Earth," Lisa replied. "I've had requests to teach English to 15 different species." Admiral Grant stepped to the speaker's platform. His white uniform gleamed under the lights as he addressed the gathering. 1 year ago, Earth answered a call that had traveled 20 light years through space. We didn't know the Tammy, had never seen a Krell, and had no stake in this conflict. But we answered because that's what humans do when someone asks for help. The hall was silent as he continued. Today, we formalize what began with that response. Earth joins this galactic council as an equal partner. We offer our strength not to conquer or control, but to defend and protect. A Tammy elder rose to speak next. When the Krelll came, they told us we were alone, that no one would help us. They were wrong. The giants of Earth came, and everything changed. After the ceremony, a great celebration began. In the center of the capital, beings from 24 worlds mingled, sharing food, music, and stories. The humans were constantly surrounded by curious aliens, all wanting to meet the giants who had changed the balance of power. Major Sam Wilson, now Colonel Wilson, watched the festivities with Chief Engineer Mike Torres. "Ever think we'd end up here when we left Earth?" Mike asked. Sam laughed. "Not in a million years. I signed up to test a new ship, not start a galactic revolution." Speaking of revolutions, Mike said, "Have you seen the new designs? The Tammy engineers have some ideas that could make our FTL drive twice as efficient." The exchange of technology had been beneficial for all sides. Earth provided its strength and industrial capacity, while the other worlds shared advances in medicine, energy, and space travel that humans might have taken centuries to develop alone. Across the celebration, Ambassador Ben Walker was deep in conversation with representatives from the Krelll. The former conquerors had been forced to make peace, but tensions remained high. "We understand the new limitations," the Krelll diplomat was saying. "No expansion beyond our home system without council approval." "It's not punishment," Ben explained patiently. "It's about ensuring peace for everyone, including your people." Some Krelll factions had attempted revenge attacks in the months after their defeat. All had failed, faced with the combined forces of the new alliance. Now most Krelll accepted the new reality, a galaxy where cooperation brought more benefits than conquest. As night fell, Captain Jack found himself on the balcony of the embassy, looking up at the stars. Dr. Anna Jones joined him. "Thinking about home?" she asked. "Thinking about everything," Jack admitted. "A year ago, we were alone in the universe as far as we knew. Now we're part of something so much bigger. And everyone looks up to us," Anna added. "Literally." Jack smiled. "That's the funny part. We never thought of ourselves as giants until we came here. And yet that's what changed everything," Anna said. "Not just our size, but what we chose to do with it." Below them, the celebration continued. Humans mingled with beings from across the galaxy, no longer strangers but allies and friends. In Earth's orbital shipyard, new vessels were under construction, larger and more advanced than anything humans had built before. They would carry Earth's representatives farther into the galaxy, establishing new connections and ensuring peace. On the Thunderchild, now being prepared for a new mission, Lisa was working late when an alert sounded on her console. A transmission from deep space, beyond the mapped regions. The message was simple, a call for help from an unknown species facing an unknown threat. Not the Krelll this time, but something different. Something perhaps even more dangerous. Lisa immediately contacted Captain Jack, who came running to the communications center. "Can you pinpoint the source?" he asked after reading the translation. Lisa nodded. "A star system about 40 light-years beyond the edge of known space. Based on the signal pattern, it's been broadcasting for about 3 months." Jack was quiet for a moment. Then he straightened his shoulders. "Send a message to Earth Command and the Council. The Thunderchild is ready to respond." "But we don't know what's out there," Lisa said. "We'd be the first to explore beyond the mapped regions." Jack smiled. "That's what we do now. We answer when others call." As the message was sent, Jack looked out at the stars visible through the viewport. A year ago, humanity had taken its first steps into a larger universe. They had discovered they were giants among the galactic community, not just in size, but in courage and compassion. And now, when someone called for help from the darkness of space, there was no question about what would happen next. Earth's giants would take flight once more.